Guys, it's been a minute since I've done a full run through, but this game was a lot of fun. The Lunar Dial game by the Morbid Network. I just felt compelled to tell of this game because it was a lot of fun. So we're gonna go to the table and check out how it's played, and then I'll give you my formal review at the end. Let's check it out. All right, guys, so here it is. This is it on a card table. Basically, you're going to have 4 cards drawn out in each one of these realms. Okay, now the goal of the game is basically a set collection game, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. So every player is going to have a hand of 3 cards. You're going to have full moon cards, half moon cards. There's a new moon. There's also crescents as well. But what's interesting is this dial prevents you from playing some cards in certain areas. Like you can't play a crescent here, you can't play a new moon there, or a half moon there. You can't play a full moon anywhere. But the goal of the game is essentially to look at the board and try to match up your cards with what's on the actual mat. But you can do that in a way that's kind of interesting. So let's say I have this 11 card and I've got this 1, right? So looking at the mat, I'm looking over here and I see a 1, a 6, a 4, and a 10, right? So I've got 11 between these 3 cards. So if I were to be able to play my 1 in this realm, the next turn, assuming it's still there, I'd be able to play my 11, and I'd actually be able to clear the realm, which gives me points. But in lies the problem for me. This 1 is a new moon card. And unfortunately, I can't play a new moon there, so I can't set myself up. So it makes this interesting dynamic of trying to set up next rounds whilst also looking at the board, because there are some things that you're going to want to do. There's cards like this full moon goddess that gives you an instant moonstone, which is what you're trying to collect to ultimately win. Also, when you clear out realms, you're going to get one of these, cards of different signs like Aquarius here that'll give you certain abilities when you flip them over. There's 4 of those randomly placed on the board. The way the game is scored is the person with the moon goddess. Actually, you know what? I'll just show it to you. So here it is. For each realm you clear, so whenever you clear all these cards, and these cards will go away potentially one by one. Like let's say I just played a 2 card here. I can take this one off the board. I don't have to add them up, which makes a really interesting dynamic towards the end of the game, because maybe a lot of these bigger cards are gone that have been played, and so you get stuck in a realm that you can't clear. But anyway, if you clear, you get a moonstone for collecting the goddess of the full moon right there, for revealing the Scorpio or Capricorn signs, for collecting the most cards, which of course you'll count at the end, or for collecting the most full moons. You also get a moonstone for 13, I think, cards once you've collected them. So you can do that. And really, at the end of the game, whoever has the most moonstones wins. Let's talk about it. Yo, I got to tell you, this game seems very simple on the surface. And when you first start playing it, you will, try to set your hand up. You're going to think that you've got it all under control. And then by the middle of the game, you realize I've played this all wrong. It is devilishly strategic for what it is. This little tiny box, this little game with this mat, the mat's actually beautiful. The cards are beautiful. The components of it are beautiful. What was interesting about this, I picked this game up on a flyer. Amazon had it for less than $5. And I just went, whatever, let's just give it a go. Couldn't be more happy with it, honestly. The strategic components of this are so simple, but yet so unique. So highly recommend this little dial. Also, I didn't mention this in the run through, but if you play a full moon, you get to spin it. I can't go back to the board now, but you get to spin it. So you can change what areas you can't play a crescent or a new moon or whatever. So that's another little element of strategy here as you're playing the game is, okay, I played a full moon. Do I turn the dial? Because that might help me in the future, but it also might screw over somebody that's trying to set something up. And really trying to play the gambling of, if I set something up for an 11 or a 12 that could clear a realm, does somebody else at the table have that 11 or 12? And can they play it? Oh God, it was so good. So Morbid Network, or whoever made or designed this, let me see if I can come up with that real quick. I don't know, but it does say by the Morbid Network, which apparently is a podcast. I had to look that up. I didn't know that. or a podcast network. You did a great job. Well done. Very, very well done. You took a simple set collecting game and you made it very interesting. And I didn't even really get into, you know, these cards, these Capricorn, the Aquarius, all these types of cards. They have, you know, I did mention they have these different powers you can use when you flip them over. That changes the dynamic of the game as well, because that can give you an additional turn. It can make you have to shuffle the board. It's very, very cool. Highly recommend. This is a tired dad recommended game for sure. And if you can get it on the cheap like I did, you will not be disappointed. So anyway, Tired Dad out. Peace.